All right, so going live again. Yeah, a little technical difficulty there a second ago. So I'm back again, going live on YouTube about Marvel's new show. What if? I don't know why I was talking like William Shatner, but anyway, yeah. So the new Marvel show, What If, came out, and that was interesting to watch. I enjoyed watching that. I don't know if anybody else thought about it, but it instantly reminded me of the Neil Patrick Harris Spider-Man cartoon that came on MTV. I don't know. Does anyone remember that? I enjoyed that a lot. So that's not a diss or anything negative. I just really enjoyed the fact that it was a looser 3D. A lot of times 3D can be kind of stiff. Adult Swim just announced the new Blade Runner cartoon, and the trailer for that looked kind of hokey. This was great though. This had a lot of great fluidity, a lot of great cinematography, some great action scenes. Most of the original voice cast or the live action cast to participate in the voice cast, so everyone pretty much sounded like they would on screen. Um, it was well done. It was very surprising for me. I was not going to be the number one fan, but it actually turned out to be a pretty fun little show. Honestly, it was really short. It felt short. The Loki show felt really long, and this felt like it was too short. So maybe there's a happy medium of like 35 minutes. I don't know, 40. I don't know. Just felt like it needed some more time with the character. Her powers were used really well visually. Um, it wasn't really a pro feminist, anti man, or a man hating show. It was good. I liked it. Um, I think the best part was letting Steve Rogers participate in the action, even though he wasn't Captain America. Um, I know if he had actually just switched roles with Agent Carter and he just became Agent Rogers, there would have been a lot of consternation amongst the fans, which I guess speaks more to the inactive role Agent Carter had in the movie and less to any kind of agenda to emasculate Steve Rogers on Marvel's part, even if they just swapped the characters. Um, I wouldn't have really been offended if they just swapped the characters and Steve Rogers did nothing. But I mean, by adding him into the action, they definitely sidestepped a lot of drama and controversy. So I can appreciate that. Um, really wasn't much to dislike. Some of the animation looked a little awkward in places proportionally. Some of the character proportions were off a little bit, but that's really nitpicking. Overall, it was a lot of fun. Overall, it was very kinetic physically, as in the characters got into a lot of physical activity and didn't just talk and espouse exposition. They actually got around and moved. And then also kinetic in the sense that it had a lot of momentum. Scenes built up on each other really quickly. And it definitely had that swashbuckling Indiana Jones feel. It was a lot of fun. I I don't know if Marvel has made anything better than this What If episode since maybe the Winter Soldier in 2014. Probably last time they made something this good. Um, and by good, I mean good all the way around. Um, where there's a story theme, also great action, also great acting. I think the last good thing to me that they made, which was Black Panther, had good acting and a good theme, but the action was terrible. Um, so this had really good action and a good theme and some great voice acting. All of the actors did a good job emoting vocally and trusting the animators to take it the other half, or really, and since we're in animation, 90% of the way, because it's so physical, so visual, and physicality is so important in acting, not just vocal control. So I mean, the actors did a great job. I'm very surprised to say that it was affecting to hear the characters interact, to see the same things slightly inverted, which took away a lot of the surprise factor because there's really no suspense in a lot of the scenes, but they still had a great sense of momentum. I still had a great sense of anticipation. You still look forward to everything happening, even though you more or less knew what was going to happen. There were enough minor tweaks to really keep you engaged, even if you know the comics and even if you know the live action story that's been told in Captain America: The First Avenger back in 2011. So I I mean, I really couldn't say enough good about it. Beyond the trailer did a great breakdown. She spent 30 or 40 minutes going through the entire episode frame by frame almost, but it was worth it. The show looked really good. It looked much better than Loki. This Marvel What If, and this was brought up in her video as well, really upstaged a lot of the live action. So it makes you think Marvel is either very confident in what they have coming up next in live action or just isn't concerned about the comparison, because What If looks much better than anything going on in Marvel's live action or anything that's been going on in Marvel's live action in TV or film for quite some time. Cinematography is great. The colors were very vibrant. The the blocking of the characters and the framing of shot composition was excellent. The framing of characters, the way characters move through the frame, decisions to put characters in a more two-dimensional, almost relief or silhouette at times was very well used. Um, the distance from the camera, creating a sense of depth as characters moved from the background to the foreground and vice versa, was great. There were a lot of great little callbacks in the dialogue. The writing just seemed much tighter than what was going on in live action. And I think a lot of that comes down to budget, honestly. I think the Marvel live action has been hampered by budget recently, budget and scheduling control issues. But animation is all about scheduling, all about budget. So if your writing is correct, then everything is pretty much going to fall into place. If the script is right, locked in correctly, the actors come in and do great performances and give the animator something to play off of, I mean, there's really no way to mess it up. It's pretty much a lock. And this is far superior to anything going on in live action because no one's imagination was limited. So the animators aren't limited by any kind of budget. It costs just as much to make people talk at a desk as it would be to flip a motorcycle over somebody's head and throw it across the city. So it was much more visually engaging, even when it was doing the same things as something like a Loki or WandaVision or Falcon and Winter Soldier, where they're talking and they have to deliver exposition. There was no limit on how the exposition was delivered here. And it could be much more dynamic because animators are only limited by their imagination. I also recently watched the anime Kite, which was also turned into a film in 2014 starring Marvel Cinematic Universe MVP Samuel Jackson. And I haven't seen a live action film, but I saw the anime, and that was amazing too. It kind of goes back to that point about animation's capacity for basically infinite invention. There's nothing stopping anyone animated from doing anything that the animator sets in their minds to depict. Kite was pretty amazing for this reason and had a lot of great action scenes. I was blown away by a few key moments in Kite. Some jumps, some crazy falls. There's an action scene in a bathroom that was really wild and really engaging, and constantly upping the stakes and swapping back and forth between who was in control of the fight. So Kite was a great anime, and I didn't know if anything could match it. And then I turn right back around and watch this What If, and it does a pretty good job. It's not exactly as good. It didn't have as many memorable scenes, but are scenes that are taken quite as far, but I mean, the What If show is not primarily an action show with crazy choreography or things that are supposed to look like the Raid Redemption or Barandal. So, considering that this is not primarily an action show set out to just do crazy, gently martial arts and stunts, thought it did a great job. What If could have just been a disaster. It could have been kind of dead eyed and lazy, just a quick cash grab with some low quality animation because all the Marvel animation up to this point has been pretty terrible. Marvel Spider-Man is really low budget and lame. The Avengers shows have been bad, really bad. Hulk Agents of Smash has been bad. All of it was kind of fly by night and just lowest common denominator nonsense. But this has been really good. I never watched the MODOK series on Hulu, but it seems like that turned a lot of people off. But this isn't that at all. It doesn't seem like it has an agenda of any kind that would turn anyone one way or the other. They just really wrote a legitimate story, an interesting story, an engaging story about Captain Carter. They kept their focus on that character. They kept throwing interesting challenges at that character. Your boy Zach made an interesting comment about all new protagonists that replace old protagonists in a mantle role are always embraced recently. There's never any kind of pushback. So I thought it was really refreshing to have Captain Carter get a lot of pushback and not just be welcomed with open arms by everybody across the military and across SHIELD and just loved immediately upon entering the battlefield. She's actually not even allowed on the battlefield for a long stretch of time. So thought that was an interesting point just to give some pushback, give the character something to overcome, and allow the character to develop a personality through adversity. I don't know. Overall, there really were no big complaints. Maybe it would have been nice to see a few more Marvel Easter eggs or maybe some callbacks to the first movie more. I would have liked to see more Jeffrey Wright. His voice is there as Watu the Watcher, but I would have liked to see more of the Watcher in person. Other than that, I thought it was great. I'll keep this one pretty brief and might hop back on later on tonight. But if anybody wants to share their thoughts on Captain Carter, please feel free. Look forward to hearing from anybody that wants to share. And it's a great show. If you checked it out, let me know your thoughts. If you haven't, go get on it. Have a good night, unless I hop back on the stream later on. Bye, y'all.